this.
If anything happens, I want to know that you will be okay.
I'll be safe.
Actually, he flips the conversation. He goes, I've noticed a little thing between you and Brett.
What?
Nothing.
No matter what happens, I want you all to stay together, and I want you to do what you need to do to get out of here. Don't worry about me. Help as you can if you can. But mostly worry about yourselves, okay?
I'm not leaving you alone. You can do this.
If anything happens, I want to know that you will be okay.
I'll be safe.
Alrighty then. So, recapping last session for all those that need it. After waking and Saren realizing he had gotten an uninvited makeover, he quickly altered his appearance, and without much fuss, the group woke and got themselves up and out of Bakram. As the group was traveling through the Jewel Rose lands, they saw how the landscape has fared, as large beaches stretched far inland, and they even came across a decently sized coral reef that has been abandoned by the waters centuries ago. Here, Racha was able to find a small chest that has been there for quite some time, and got some goodies out of it after falling prey to some acidic compounds. Nothing else really impeded the rest of their journey, and they came upon Kember, a large borehole mine stretching 800 feet across and indefinitely down, with the main city on a circular spire that goes down the middle of the mine as far as the eye can see or light allows. Rashi was able to pay for the group to enter, and as they got further into town, Rashi broke off to go find her mother. The group then traversed Kember, found the fluffy Pegasus, and was able to secure some modest rooms and one not so modest room, and get the steeds taken care of. They then went around town and found some shops to get some things. Racha got a dress made for Tat Tat, and the rest became enamored by a magic shop that had so many interesting items for them, they spent the majority of their time there, haggling and Saren weighing the pros and cons of the group and its purse. But eventually, some came out with some interesting and helpful items before heading out and finding a place to eat. As they found a tavern and sat down to get themselves ready, they noticed a bouncing blue head of hair coming down from the second floor balcony towards them. And that's where we resume. You guys just sat down to take a moment and get ready to eat as Rashi comes bounding down the stairs. Not so much excited to see you guys, but not so much happy as you think she would be. For your...
That sounds about right.
for your... for context, Rashi, you went to go find your mother at the last place that she was staying, and she was not there, and so you asked around and went to a few different inns and taverns, and have still yet to come across your mother. This was the last place that you had gotten information that she stayed, and unfortunately she is not here either. But as you came downstairs, you at least saw your compatriots.
Kaporin's off playing music with everyone else. That's when we walked in.
Well, like I said, there is no set place to play. There are two other people playing instruments, but they're off on different sides of the tavern at their own tables as their fellow people are finishing their foods.
Oh, boo. They're no fun. Fine, Kaporin will play music at his table. Rashi, how are you? Did you find what you're looking for?
No. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to get any updates on where she's at. I see you haven't gotten kicked out yet.
Thanks for your faith in us.
We haven't got kicked out, and hopefully that never comes to fruition. But we've made ourselves comfortable for the time being.
As you guys are starting to have this conversation, a Duragar male comes over. Rashi, you hear him say, "Hey, what can I get for your order?"
What are you all wanting to eat?
Tacos.
there's only fish tacos. Are you okay with fish tacos?
Her child's eyes just go wide and very smiley.
Rashi will turn to the Duergar and say, table, fish tacos for the table.
Alright, I do fish tacos.
Tacos!
Any drinks with your tacos?
What do you all want to drink?
A pint for me.
Does anyone not drink alcohol?
I also have a pint.
Rashi will. Sorry, go ahead, Saren.
Siren will just ask for a glass of water for tonight.
You see Rashi kind of just blink at you, like, okay, but then she just shrugs. um,
Kaporn will whisper over to Rashi. He's like, probably just get a pint for Nori too. Gotta make sure she stays well hydrated. Winks.
okay, Rashi will relay the drink orders to the dwarf and just kind of shrug when she says, "And one water."
Alright, points all around and a water for the lass. As he pointedly looks at Sarah.
Rashi starts laughing.
Alright, I'll be back. And he heads off to put in your order.
Just question for is Saren still wearing his hood up in as we travel around this town?
Yeah, I suppose disguise self wouldn't be active, so yeah, his head's up. Alright.
After a few moments, the Duragar comes back, puts out a long plate. It's not more of a plate, it's more of like a cutting board itself. And along it sits 22 tacos. And then he's like, I'll be back with the drinks and the water. And he goes off again.
Do any of you that does Saren have tongues or comprehend languages or anything on him, or is Rashi the only one understanding the Duergar right now?
Saren gets a little bit of it because he knows Dwarvish and Undercommon. So he can understand like the general gist of sentences, but that's the only person that can right now.
Okay, but he doesn't necessarily understand that he's kind of being poked fun at, or would he kind of understand like he's the butt of a joke, but he doesn't exactly understand what the joke is?
He can tell that the Duragar is making fun of him.
It's pretty
Okay.
par for the course for Saren at this point.
Okay, I mean, Rashi's still laughing because she thinks it's funny.
So Rashi, any plans for after this then? Do you have to are you gonna still keep looking?
Well, I want to, but I don't know where else to look. This is the last place that she would have stayed. So unless something happens between now and the morning, the only thing I have to do is I have to go and exchange my weapon. My flail doesn't work as well as I thought it did.
Rin will nod. Is there anybody around who, I guess, is closer to your mother that might know where she went? I know you said I think your mentor was here. Would they have any idea?
I mean, I could go ask Bell, or I mean, not tonight because he's probably sleeping. But we could go pay him a visit in the morning, and he might uh have some weapons I can look at. He might know, but he'd be the only one. Well, the only one that I would ask willingly. And you see Rashi kind of wrinkle her nose when she says willingly at the end.
Rin will just nod. Well, if anything, hopefully it'll be a lead to get you answers.
Yeah, hopefully. Dig in with the tacos before Richard eats them all because he looked very excited when I said fish earlier.
There are 5 missing tacos already.
Kaporn has already picked up one and is halfway through eating it as he's just like staring at you. He's like, okay, just listening along.
Saren hasn't even touched Taco yet, but he'll say, well, Rashi, I can't promise any results, but if you can describe something to me that was a personal possession of your mom's, I have something I can try once we're in private.
It won't shoot colors into the sky.
No, it won't shoot colors into the sky.
I will consider it. I didn't take much with me, so I might have to rifle around my pack a little bit.
Well, ideally, it'd be something that she would still have on her.
Do you know if your mother had any precious necklace or maybe a tool or some kind that she would keep on her person?
Well, you'd have to be, Saren, you'd have to be familiar with the item, correct? I don't know how we would become familiar with it if we hadn't seen it before.
Uh, I, j- I just have to describe her name and object that's familiar to me. So it could be anything from a hammer to a necklace with a ruby in it.
Well, that works.
There's some limitations to it, and depending on what the item is and everything, it may or may not work.
Locate creature just looks for a general species, just to make my understanding right.
Locate creatures?
Yeah, locate creature, locate person. That's a general. Locate creature is a general species. Like how we were looking for the black adder, just to remember.
Yeah, are you asking me or are you just asking Nori?
So sorry, I'm just asking generally. To you, Val. Just making sure.
Oh, I think off the top of my
Uh,
head,
it says describe or name a creature that's familiar to you. So I think you can use a species, but you can be more specific.
yeah.
Yeah, we've used it before to find things.
Yeah, the spell can locate a specific creature known to you or the nearest creature of a specific kind.
Yeah, I thought you guys were doing locate object, in which you have a harder time.
Yeah, we were referencing both. Saren, that spell. Locate creature.
He does not have that spell, no.
I'll be able to get it tomorrow. If you think we need it, that is. Sorry.
Very good. Well, we have a plan of attack. If we'll keep looking for your mother, Rashi, if hopefully we'll be able to find her. Um, do you have any staying arrangements, or I know we have a couple rooms back at the Fluffy Pegasus.
Can't believe you possibly forgot the name of it.
Rainbows just immediately popped in my head when I was thinking about the Pegasus. So I guess the question is, does Rashi have a place to stay, or does she need to
Well,
come
since she
join
never
us?
found her mother, she technically would not have a abode to stay at for free.
10-4.
Also, just quick question for the DM. So, do I just kind of make up an object that I think that Rashi's mom would have on her? Because I don't have anything specifically listed, but like I can come
Yeah.
up with like a ring or a necklace.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll give that some thought for a moment. Okay. Um. Well, I haven't found her, so I am in need of a place to stay if one of you has extra space in a room. If not, I can get my own room.
I don't honestly know if they will let any more people stay in the rooms because we got all single rooms mostly. But we can see if they have another single room.
Well, if you do need to stay, we will show you where we're. I mean, we'll go back to the Fluffy Pegasus afterward. But for now, let's enjoy our food, and I think our drinks are on our way. Let me play us everyone's song as well.
Um, before anyone leaves the table, Saren will get Rashi's attention. Um,
By
actually,
doing
do
a
you have?
sexy dance. Sorry.
I don't know if that's gonna get her attention. To be fair.
No. Saren hates everyone. No, he's gonna get Rashi's attention and ask him. Do you happen to know if this tavern serves coffee?
She does not know what coffee is.
Then
uh, yeah, you when you get her attention, she has her mouth like half full of a taco, and she just kind of looks very confused at what you just said because again, like DM says, she has no idea what that is. She's like, um, I and shrugs.
does coffee exist in this world, or am I
Yeah, you
saying
guys
random?
have had coffee before in Ixia.
Then I suffer in silence.
Nah, you have a water. I hope that the water's like potable and drinkable because
Looking down at your water right now, though it's in a dark mug, so you can't really like. It's not like in a clear glass. As you kind of pour it out a little bit, you see that it's quite yellow, with chunks of something in it.
Yeah, he's not really drinking.
Orcha would offer his water skin if he really needed a drink. He knows that tacos don't go down well sometimes.
I can't believe a D&D realm has tacos. That's not like a modern realm.
Oh, we've had tacos like in many cities or many towns. Excuse me. Well, after if everyone doesn't have anything else to say at the conversation, Koporin would probably get up from the table and either head back to the fluffy Pegasus, or if we have anything else to do in the tavern, he'll play a song if everyone's still taking their time.
Oh, definitely, you have to play.
Saren will definitely go straight back to the inn when he can, so he can start copying spells into his new spell book.
Okay, you stopping by the stationery store, or do you have ink and stuff already for it?
I have 25 gold pieces worth of ink and paper.
Okay.
So I'm only at two levels, and I'm gonna get both my first level divination, comprehend language, and detect magic into there.
Okay, so make sure you make a note of that. Um, if you do get into any sort of combat, it's going to be very specific which one you got out. You'll probably use your basic one, but once something gets transferred, the magic goes with it, just FYI.
It's good to know. Mm. I'm gonna. Really. I'm gonna instead. I'm gonna transfer. Let's see, actually let me. I'm gonna transfer Featherfall and it's my spell list.
Just go ahead and send it to me in a message.
Okay.
All right, so we got Saren going back to the Fluffy Pegasus. Kaporin, you're playing music.
Aye.
Everybody else?
Racha would hold up his previous necklace and offer it to Rashi and go, "We're just chasing fables."
And then when Saren gets up to leave, Bryn is going to give them a very long look, just as a "if you run away, I will chase you down" look, because she's still a little about that spell book.
That investment.
Yeah.
After Saren
She's
actually completely walks away, the Durgar man comes back over and goes, before you all start heading out, I need someone to be paying.
Does Rashi tell us this?
Yeah, just assume that if we're in the Dorgar town, she just automatically translates.
Yeah. Okay. If you tell us, then Bryn will nod her head and just let me know how much it is.
For everything, all the drinks and all the food, you're looking at 10 trillion.
Rashi just hands over the 10 trillium and tells Bryn not to worry about it. Actually, she's going to give 12 to tip the Duragar for being just, doing his service.
All right, and they do the customary thing when you tip anybody in a Duragar town, they take the tip and put one of the coins in their eye and kind of give you a bow.
Okay, cool. I was hoping something cool would happen from that, but I just wanted to do it because, Okay, so wait, so Racha offered the necklace or just showed it to her?
He's holding it out like he'd like you to take it.
She'll put her hand out under it so he can drop it in and say, "Thank you."
Wonderful traveling companion.
The bird's taking a liking to you, Rashi.
Apparently, I still don't quite understand his phrases, but, it's nice not being alone.
Well, you'll never be alone in this group.
And don't feel bad if you can't understand him yet. We can't half the time either, I feel.
Okay, so is it just like a regular necklace, or is there something weird about it? Just so when I write it in.
It is a periapta wound closure.
Oh, it's fancy.
He's given everybody else gifts so far, and so he's like, I gotta give you a gift.
Mine was a bottle of poison.
Richard doesn't really understand the like value of things. He goes, "Oh, I think this person will like this gift," doesn't he?
Pretty much. The thing, basically, he purchased something that was a straight upgrade of that, so he's given it. He wants to make sure if somebody can use it, it could get used.
Well, I mean, we know he's rolling in cash now, so.
Not after his purchase, but
Oh, okay. Well, he was rolling in cash. After paying, Rashi will ask Kaporin to show her back to the Fluffy Pegasus because she doesn't want to walk by herself.
I think we'll all walk together, right?
More the merrier.
Yeah. We can do that. Yes. Sorry.
So with friends in tow and Kaporin leading off with a good song, we head back to the Fluffy Pegasus.
All right, getting back to the Fluffy Pegasus, going down to the third floor, being greeted by the large, completely white and no other color Pegasus that outstretches 30 feet of wingspan. You guys go into the bottom portion, are greeted by the warm oak wood and red velvet interior. You get a room if you're equaling the 2 nights that everyone else has got. That's going to be 6 trillium for you, Rashi, if you want a room for 2 nights.
That's how long everyone else is staying?
That's what we put down for now.
And
Okay,
it's
sounds
another it's another 2 trillium for your horse for the 2 nights as well.
So total of 4.
Total of 8. The 2 trillium it's 1 trillion
sorry.
a night.
Okay,
So you're fine. And you are given a single room as well. The majority of the group, you guys all go to your separate rooms, except for Nori and Bryn, who go to the honeymoon suite. Nori and Bryn, as you guys open the door, it's just as gaudy as you left it. The rotating heart-shaped bed, the small hot tub in the corner. But now there is a iced bottle of something on the entrance table.
This is great. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna go see what that is.
Yep.
So you go over to it, and with a little note card at the front in a language you can't read, there is a ice bottle of some sort of fizzy drink that resides. And as you see now, the ice doesn't seem to melt. There is no pooling water at the bottom, but it is cold to the touch. And 2 glasses, of course.
Well, do we open it?
I think I'm gonna cast Comprehend Languages on myself just so I can read the note.
Okay. So, reading the notes, it says, "Compliments of the Fluffy Pegasus. May your nights be as entertaining as your days.
I embarrassingly, I relay this just embarrassed.
Prin's just gonna chuckle and she'll open the bottle. Because, why not?
When in Kimber.
Exactly.
So it's a nice bubbly alcoholic drink, sort of in the realm of champagne, but this is Durgar we're talking about, so it has more of a bite of like whiskey. So it's an interesting bit of like burn down the throat, yet like bubbly burping afterwards. So it's like you're not sure how to. Do you take this as a shot? Do you sip on it? You're not exactly sure. So Nori sips on it, Bryn downs it, and you both have mixed results afterwards.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
But it's at least a good taste. So that is a highlight thing. Nori, go ahead and give me a con save.
Ooh, fun.
Oh no, that's a 14.
This is your second drink of the day.
Oh, jeez.
So, Bryn, you guys fall asleep with a very tipsy Nori. And the bubbly makes her even more giggly.
You're welcome.
But you all get your long night's rest. It is. Go ahead.
Cha plays patty cake with his ghost hand before he goes to bed.
That's right. And some of you having new items to play with and to take time with. Everyone, I'm guessing, is attuning to their items that they need to. Which that Rashi, your parry-apt, requires attunement.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, sure I am, but yes, apparently I actually am.
So, with that long night's rest is had, you guys wake up in the morning. You realize that this town, Rashi, you wake up earlier just naturally being here. But the town of Kember rises incrementally up the spire, with the people who live further down not really being dictated by daytime or nighttime. They tend to rise a bit earlier in the day, and so it's a compounding effect as the lower levels rise. They wake up the higher level, and the higher level, Rashi, you're used to this, so you know to wake up before you get woken up. But the rest of you suffer an interesting little. And Rachel, this would actually be the first time where you're getting interrupted by the. Where you usually do the cockle-doodle-doo in the morning and wake everyone else up, you're getting just a heat wave coming from underneath, as well as violent shaking of the spire that you guys didn't really notice when you were awake and moving around. And by the time you went to bed, it had subsided. But during the day, when everything starts to get moving, since you all share this central pole that runs all the way down this borehole mine, as everyone starts to wake up, it is a interesting sort of violent hum of vibration that continuously happens throughout the day. You get used to it quickly once you're awake, but it is a jarring sensation that wakes you up in the morning. But you're all awake, and the day is yours.
After being startled awake by this immense heat and humming, Kaporn ends up down in the lobby waiting for everyone else to come down.
Rashi's gonna knock on doors until she finds Saren, because she doesn't know what room he's in.
Go ahead and just roll a d10 for me. And Nori, give me a hangover con check.
I'm gonna roll poorly, aren't I? That is a 10.
You have a thrumming headache that matches the vibration of the floor.
I have made a mistake.
Oh, wow.
You actually, the first door you knock on is Saren's.
Ooh, that wasn't interesting at all.
Okay, so she knocks on Saren's door, apparently.
Saren,
does
you
Saren,
wake to
you
the
wake-
vibration as well as a knock on the door.
He'd probably grumble around for a minute at being woken up like that, but he'll eventually get to the door and open it up.
Good morning. Sorry you were woken up all startled. I didn't get a chance to warn you all about this. Sorry, but it. Are you still willing to do the whatever you said you could do with the item?
I'm willing to try. I can't promise any results.
Well, I mean, it's worth trying. I don't really have any other leads other than your offer, and I can probably go visit Balar um, a little bit later.
Well,
Can I come in?
yeah, he'll step aside and gesture inside for Rashi to.
Okay, Rush.
Well, did she typically carry anything unusual on her? Some type of jewelry or tool that not everyone here would have had?
Not really any tools. She kind of uh knows how to do a little bit of a lot of things, but I only saw it once, and she told me not to worry about it. But there's this ring that looks like it has a like a maybe a white stone in it, and I saw her take it out and put it on once, but then I never saw it again. But so I don't know if she'd be wearing it, but it was kind of odd because when I think back now, it seemed like it might be kind of expensive, and it probably could have gotten us quite a bit of money for food or shelter, but it wasn't something I ever saw like think that she sold, given that um, our circumstances remained what they were.
Um, I'm gonna try something. Feel free to give input on it, and I'm gonna cast my the door's shut, by the way. And I'm
I
casting
guess as much.
minor illusion, and I'm basically just creating an image of your standard, because I don't have much to go on, your standard like engagement ring with a diamond in there. I'm gonna say what
Basically, you're gonna slowly but surely kind of whittle it down until you get a right idea of the actual ring.
yeah, that's what I'm gonna try to do. Yeah.
So as she gives more input, you change the minor illusion until you get. Well, let's see. Go ahead and roll a d20. Add your intelligence modifier, Rashi.
Okay.
So just an intelligence check.
I have no intelligence modifier. This should be fun.
You did see it only once and many years ago, so it's a bit of a gamble whether or not. I mean, you saw it briefly, and you give over to Saren as much detail as you can looking at the illusion that he puts in front of you, you're like, that could be it. It could not be. You only saw it once and very briefly.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess that she was probably like a little kid, like maybe 5 or 6, maybe like
Yeah.
it would have been before she went off to live with the underground, basically. So I imagine she would have been maybe like 5 or 6. So like that would be the best she got. So
Okay. So, Saren, you have at least a template to work with.
Can I ask how much it was modified from what I originally showed?
I'd say you went about through 4 iterations before you got the item, the picture that you're working with now.
And are you certain that this is as best? I know you said you only saw it once, but this is as best as you can remember it.
What you're seeing now is more of, instead of a engagement ring with a silver band and a diamond inside, it's more of like an iron or dark metal ring with like almost a pearl inlaid into it instead.
cool. Thanks, DM, because I was kind of going for an inlaid thing rather than a external
Yep.
thing. Woohoo! um, yeah, I mean, I was little. I was like maybe 5 or 6. Um, and I just maybe I had a nightmare or something, so it was kind of dark, and she was looking at it when I walked into like towards her bed, and she like really quickly hid it away. So that that seems really good.
Okay. Saren gives kind of a long sigh, and then he closes his eyes and dispels the image of the ring. And he thinks about it for a second, and then he casts locate. He's gonna pull a fork twig out of his component bag and cast locate object and focus on the ring.
Okay. Locate object it is. That's 1,000 feet from you.
Yeah, 1,000 feet.
Okay. Casting locate object, you kind of feel around your space and you are getting something. Fluffy Pegasus is on the western side of the town. And pushing this out, it feels like it's to the east, maybe about 150 feet away, but it's down. Feels like it's on the floor below, the disc below you guys, on the 4th floor.
After a few moments after I sense that, Saren will say, uh, I I'm picking up something, and again, no promises that it is your mother, but there does appear to be a ring matching that description about one level below us.
And Rashi, I don't know if you watched last session, but you've never been past the 3rd disc. You're not allowed. Only Duragar are.
That that can't that can't be right. My mother's fully human. There'd be no way they'd allow her down there. They don't even allow me down there, and like, because I'm only Durgar are allowed below the 3rd disc. Maybe she finally sold it or lost it. Um,
Those are. Is it moving at all? By the way,
No.
no. Well, those are both certainly possibilities. With this spell, I can only sense the object. So if it's even owned by someone or just lost in a ditch somewhere, all I know is where it is.
Well, we definitely. I mean, we have to visit Balar anyway because you will need to um, get more information on the person you're looking for. So we have to visit him anyway. He might be able to tell me more information. He'd be the only one that would be allowed down there of the people that I know that I would ask willingly because I'm not asking Doofus Face. And she says that part, not in the Doofus Face part. It sounds like a curse, and it's in Dorgar, so like you may not understand the exact translation, but she doesn't say that in that part in common.
Saren, you understand it as messed up face.
Um, while Rashi's saying that, I'm gonna drop locate object. And do I want to do this? Yeah, Saren will say, he'll kind of put a finger up after you say that. Just a moment, I'd like to try something. And he's gonna pull out one of his two copper pieces out of his component pouch, and he's gonna cast detect thoughts.
Okay.
And he's just using it to kind of skim Rashi's surface thoughts.
Okay.
What am I thinking on the surface?
What are you thinking on the surface?
Well, she currently would be sort of thinking concerned thoughts about her mom, given where Saren sort of sensed the ring, and she would be thinking about Balar, so she'd have like an image of him in her head. Um, and then the last thing she would probably have like on the surface level would be an image of Fugar or Doofus Face, because honestly, as a character, as a player, that was like the best thing I could come up with off the fly. Um, because I feel like she wouldn't like obviously like I don't think they get like they don't get along, but I don't feel like she would like really like curse use like curse words for descriptions of people. So doofus faces is like insulting as she'll get. Um, and she'd have a picture of his face and kind of like thinking like frustration if she has to like go to ask him for help.
Yeah.
So
So, just mainly general thoughts that you would have picked up on in the conversation.
That spell lasts 1 minute, and after I'm done casting it, if Rashi doesn't say anything, Saren will just continue. This, how'd you say it? Balor?
Balar,
This Balor figure, do you think that we as a group can trust him?
of course. he,
Uh,
he
instead of thinking,
he'd be the most helpful person in this town, as far as he can be. I mean, he is a Dorgar, so he's gonna follow the rules and laws of this land in terms of places we can and cannot go. But there's no reason not to trust that he would be forthright and honest and as helpful as he can be.
do I get any surface thoughts that would make it seem like Rashi is lying?
I mean, mainly you're just getting sort of warm feelings. Almost like a father figure. That's about it, though.
I dropped the spell.
I appreciate your help. Do you do you need something in return, like money or paper or something? Because I'm sure that took a lot of effort.
Not at the moment, but I'll let you know. Um, I'm sorry I couldn't be of more help, but if you wouldn't mind, I would like a few minutes to get ready.
Hey, thank you again. And as she says, as she closes the door behind her, and goes to look, uh, check on the others, see how they're doing. I guess like probably make her way down to the like common room to see if everyone else is down there.
So, as you guys have eventually, in your own times, come down to the main area on the first floor to get your breakfasts, Rashi eventually ends up joining you. Kaporan, most likely already in a corner playing music.
You know it.
Cha playing rock, paper, scissors with his new hand.
Little ghost hand friend.
Consistent with the 19s today. I like that. Kaporan, in the middle of his singing, notices that Rashi comes down, and he's like, "Rashi!" and waves over to him, or her.
She sort of kind of half-heartedly waves back. You're a lot more energetic than she's used to dealing with, so she's kind of like, hi. She's not unfriendly, but she's just still getting used to you and Richa specifically. Everyone else is a little bit more even keeled, um, for what compared to what she's used to.
You'll get used to it. How did you sleep, Rashi?
It's normal as I usually do. Get up early so you don't get the rumbly feeling. Uh, I apologize for not warning you about that. I was kind of preoccupied.
I'm sure I've been woken by worse, but it was quite all right. Did you help yourself to some breakfast? I see that they've put out some over there as well.
Rash is gonna go get some breakfast.
The girls have come down already.
Not yet.
Kaporan just continues to play and wait for everyone to come downstairs.
Saren will probably come down about 10 minutes after Rashi. Uh, but he won't. He'll just grab breakfast and sit down.
All right.
Oh, wait, quick question. Uh, so if Rashi saw Saren right when he woke up, did she see like the yellow eyebrows and stuff, or are those washed off now? Because
Those
I
have been taken
remember
care
her
of.
laughing when they were put on.
Yeah,
I
those
believe it
have
was.
been taken away.
Dang it. Okay.
I'm imagining he just like had a blanket over his head as he went and answered the door.
Head wrap.
They're
Well,
not like
I mean, she's seen the missing hair. She doesn't understand why he's all like being weird about it, like because it's just hair. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, I was just saying they weren't like stained or anything onto his face. It's just he wiped them off when he first got up that day.
Next time Rachel goes to tattoo it onto his face.
I'm not sure he'd appreciate the needle into his brow.
Just wait till Saren goes down in combat, stabilize him, and then get at it.
That's too much effort. I don't think I have a needle except for like the tip of my rapier, maybe.
Your blowgun.
Oh yeah, I guess I could, but those are like those are all toxic.
Just the absolute worst oak tattoo.
Wall
I mean, you could use the. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, use the walloping needle, so every time you push in, he just falls backwards.
Yeah, because you don't use the darts for the blowgun. You just use the blowgun to like push the needle into the skin. It's very similar to how a lot of like Pacific Island cultures do traditional tattoos. They have something that resembles kind of a blowgun for certain like patterns.
That actually makes sense. And my little squeezy buttons at the back end of it will like push in and out the needles. I like this idea. I don't think Saren's going to go for it, but I like this idea.
Well, Saren doesn't
You
have
have
much choice.
You have several people in the party that can not only knock Saren down, but also stabilize him enough to keep him unconscious. So, just gotta butter one of them up.
Bryn's just sitting there, spare the dying, like every 2 seconds.
I'll do my part.
Rachel would need consent, unfortunately. He did the first part because he was trying to do a little present for him, but as soon as he wiped the paint off immediately, he was like, oh, okay.
Anyway, do the girls eventually come down?
Yes.
Yeah, I definitely would.
So, the ladies eventually join you all, with Nori holding her head as she's sporting a nice little hangover headache.
Kaporin goes over to Nori and just like gives her a little nudge. He's like, "So did anything happen last night?"
Koparin, there is a reason why I don't drink. My head hurts right now. I don't want to deal with this.
Kaporin's just disappointed that his plan didn't work and just like, "All right, hope you feel better." Goes off pouting in the corner, continuing playing his song. Just didn't freaking work. Gotta come up with a new plan now.
Now it's playing like super somber songs.
Just angrily playing in the corner.
Angsty, just being super angsty in the corner.
Like the blonde dude from Road to El Dorado, the one GIF where except like it's sad, but he's like playing real fast.
Yes, just angsty, fast music. And just gotta come up with a new plan. Arr.
Saren slowly starting to form the musical style of punk rock.
Ooh.
Get those black clothes back, become angsty again.
I still have them actually.
So you're all down together again once more at breakfast.
Nom nom nom.
Tally ho,
Sorry,
then.
that was out of character. That was.
So Rashi, I think our plan was to go see your mentor this morning, see if they know anything about your mother's whereabouts.
Yes. And you also need to talk to him to find out more about the person you're looking for, that the player has forgotten the name of.
Brand, what was the name of the person?
She's working on it.
Qatar.
Yeah, for some reason I was going to say Saturn, so that's really off.
Sorry, I was grabbing my notebook. I said it to Ryan, but he didn't respond apparently for me.
Communication network just break it down.
So Bryn says Qatar to you, Kaporan.
Oh yes, Qatar. He know your master or your mentor would know about Qatar.
Well, he would know more information about um how it like the route exactly to from the town to where his cave hermit hut place is. I've never been there. I asked once about the trading, but he said I didn't need to worry about it. And he's right. I don't need to worry about it because I'm not a Duergar, and I wouldn't ever be trading some of the stuff that they trade to get some of the things that they need. But he would probably be able to at least give us or you more information and potentially the route or someone who might know the route or take us there himself. I don't know. But he would be the best lead on that. So we have multiple reasons to see him. And I'm sure he'll be glad to see me because it's been a bit.
A point of contact with the Duergar.
Yes. A pretty uh well known trusted one too. So don't don't do anything to piss him off.
Wonderful. Well, we better be on our way then.
Chalk kind of looks at him curiously, like, why did you look directly at me with that statement?
Wait, was that
Yeah, sorry, it
Rashi
would have
or
been Rashi.
okay, sorry. Oh no, not you specifically. I was just responding, looking at you because you were the person who made the comment. No, I don't think you would do anything on purpose that would cause a problem. Just don't touch anything. We've learned that lesson, right?
He sort of begins to wave with his mage hand.
Well, I mean, technically, you're not touching it.
Don't support his. Don't support him, Rashi.
Yeah, let's not poke things.
All right. Well, Rashi, I assume you know where your mentor is. If you wouldn't mind leading the way.
Now would be a bad time to tell you that she doesn't. I'm just kidding. Um, uh,
His shop
yeah.
is on the 3rd floor. And you know it's by the northern elevator lift that goes down to the 4th disc. His smithy shop.
Right.
It's literally like the first shop on the left getting off that lift. So it's not easy to miss.
While we're out, Saren is going to look around towards the edges of the levels, and he's going to try and determine how far below where they are it would be to the surface of the 4th level.
Well, I mean, so far from what you've seen from the first 3 levels, they are evenly spaced apart. So it's about 120 feet down to the next disc.
Dwarves like their symmetry.
It starts to get darker. Like, the 3rd disc goes so far down that this is where really, like, the last bit of natural light kind of resides. 4th disc, you can kind of, it's more like dim light. 5th disc, it's right on the brink of being dark. And then 6th is dark. there's lights hanging down there, but from like upward angles and trying to look down, it just looks like a lantern here or there, but you can't tell anything.
Gotcha.
All right. So we're going to
Okay.
Balar.
Yes. I am assuming that the door is probably open and it's probably like late morning.
Yeah, you guys are roughly leaving about 9:30, 10ish. After waiting and then breakfast and all the morning stuff, going over to Balar's workstation. Dun, 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 dun. Hold on, this is the wrong disc.
Please insert new disc.
Okay, so you guys go over to where Rashi is following you. Over to Pandora's Shield is where Balar's smithy is. Going up to it, there are items that are permanently fixed, that are for sale, but if you try to retrieve them off the walls, they look like they won't budge at all. There is a small stand that greets the walkway where people come off the elevator and walk past. And on the small stand, you have this about 6 inches long, but about a foot tall. It's a little anvil and a little hammer that are attached by an iron chain. And Rashi, you know this is kind of like the bell that you ring if you need to summon Balar to the desk.
She will bang it 3 times so he knows that it's her. Because I assume they would have had some sort of weird signal.
And so, all of you guys who aren't used to this, you hear as Rashi bangs this little, and it's small, like the hammer itself is tinier than Rashi's hand, but as she hits it, it sounds like it's a mighty hammer being struck against a large anvil. You weren't expecting such a loud noise coming from this tiny thing, but ting, ting, ting.
Ow.
Yes, you don't like that.
Richard's fascinated.
But quickly you hear a bunch of shuffling and something, oh fuck, and then a little head kind of stick out, and Rashi, there you see the face of your Durgar mentor, Balar Hammerhand. Rashi! My god, how long has it been?
Oh, too long. I never wanted to leave in the first place.
And by the time that you're like talking and kind of like looking off, and he's come up and grabbed you by the upper waist and picked you up. Oh, so you haven't been eating as much.
Well, I am half human. We do kind of get a little bit taller and not as round.
Well, I think we can fix that up. And you brought customers. I always knew you were my favorite.
Yes, these, I guess you could say I made some friends, too?
Friends, wonderful. Welcome to Pandora's Shield. I am Balar Hammerhand, and I have the best wares in all of Kember. Please feel free to peruse, while I get something to eat for my friend.
Porn just being the tallest in the back is just waving his hand. Like, hi!
I was gonna say, is this in common or what
Yes, he switched from talking to in the Underdwarvish into common once he saw you all.
Gotcha.
I imagine Rashi is introducing all of us at the door, and Richard's over off to the side playing with the little tiny hammer, and like tinking it against like a needle that he pulled out of his pocket just to see like if it does it on the needle.
Well, Russia hasn't even gotten a chance to like introduce anyone yet. You can be doing that, but after Balar has made his introduction, he's kind of like clasped Rashi around the waist and is dragging her into the back and starting to pull out food from different areas and just shoving it into her hand. You eventually get 5 more rations, Rashi, worth of food.
Okay, cool. Okay, he's as great as I imagined in my brain.
And he's just like looking at you like, well, eat something. And he's just
She
not
will-
going to let you talk. He's not going to let you do
Two of the
anything until you eat a ration, which doesn't come
She
out of
will
your
eat 2
ration.
of the rations.
It doesn't come out of your rations because he's giving you more food. But yeah, he's just waiting for you to eat until you're to the point of bursting. And then he's like, all right, should we go back and meet your friends?
Nods because her mouth is still stuffed full of food. Like her cheeks are like trying to keep the food in her mouth.
As you see Baylor Hammerhand, he is a very stocky Duragar. Very thick and barrel-chested. Slightly taller than a lot of the just average Duragar. If in half-elven standards, Kaporn, you're taller on the 6'6" range, he sits about 4'10", which would be like 7'3" in Elvish language.
Did you say 7'3"?
4'10" is huge for a dwarf.
Got it.
Racha just incidentally stealthed while they were gone, and he's accidentally hiding.
Nori sees this. Actually, Nori, you have to actively make a perception check since you have the hangover.
Did it go through? Because I don't think it did.
No, not on our end. Richard oh, yep,
We're
that
good.
sounds about right.
Makes sense.
Richard, when you're banging that little hammer against your needle, it does not make the same sound.
He will let it be, and he'll just like be off in the corner looking at all the stuff.
So, a few moments later, Baylor Hammerhands, like I said, decently tall for dwarvish standards. He's got his hair pulled up into a tight bun on the back, and his hair is gone gray and white. His beard rests about mid-chest, which is also gray and white, but the very base roots of it still have some red to them. His face is interestingly is very tan for a Dorgar. Though he's got the gray skin, you can see freckles of like skin damage across his cheeks. And his overall face and forearms seem to be like a little bit darker than his neck coloration is. He's wearing a blacksmith's gown, so the heavy lead tarp-ish like material, as well as underneath he's wearing some decently thin leather material, almost hide. And you see soot just covering him in different areas. He's taken off of his gloves as he's dealing with you guys now, no longer actually working. And you can see that there are multitudes of scars all up and down his hands and wrists. But he comes out. And you see Rashi kind of like waddling behind him, just carrying like a bunch of new food that she's slowly starting to put away into different bags. So, pardon my interruption there, but I feel like I need to make sure Rashi is well fed. Like I said, I am Baylor Hammerhand, and welcome to Pandora's Shield. Is there anything that I can help friends of Rashi with? A bird, I wouldn't touch that if I were you. You might not get up. And he's not even looking over at you, Racha. He just points a finger out to you as you're like reaching up to touch this great axe.
Ooh, fascinating.
Kaporn would head over to the bird and is like, "Over here, Richa. Join us over here."
Apparently, you did not stealth enough for Bellar.
It checks out.
Well, thank you for greeting us, Bellar. My name is Kaporn. I.
He goes up and just grabs your hand, which, though you're a large individual, his hands are huge, and it like overlaps yours, to where his fingers are like meeting on the other side of your hand, but he still cups the back of your hand and like shakes it hard. Well, it's very nice to meet you, Kaporin.
Oh, yes, very nice to meet you too. Our bird friend here is Richa.
Cha! And he grabs your hand and double hand shakes it as well. Your arm, he's like, ah, ah, ah.
He's nearly eye level with me. It's so fun.
And these two over here, or these three, Bryn, Nori, and Saren, as Kaporn points down.
And he goes to each one of you and clasps your hands the same way and shakes it fiercely. Nora, you're just kind of like ragdolled a little bit.
Accurate.
I mean, he is he is a blacksmith, so he's got some heft.
Swinging that hammer all day long.
Which you actually do see a decently large hammer propped up against the back side of the table. It's about the size of a warhammer.
Good lord.
Yeah, that checks out. By this time, Rashi's managed to not have chipmunk cheeks anymore. and she, well, you've met, I guess, friends. Yeah, friends. I have friends. That's weird.
Rashi, you need to stop being so socially anxious and accept that people out there do like you. I know you haven't gotten a lot of that here, but I knew eventually you'd finally find people who share common interests and can see how good of a person you are, like I have all these years.
She just blushes, like her face just turns red because, like, she gets embarrassed when he compliments her. Yeah, I know. So we're kind of, well, I wanted to see you since I was in town, but we're also here for a couple different reasons. First, I need to get a new weapon. This flail is not working like I thought it would. So I would like to see what you have in stock currently, please.
All right, yeah, I'm definitely. I've got quite a few things currently cooking up. Was able to get a few items that I forged myself and had enchanted, as well as was able to procure a few older items that I'm studying to try and replicate the enchantments and creation of.
Oh, that sounds fascinating, and I really want to listen to you talk about that, but I don't think we have the time at the moment. Um, the other
Oh,
thing
nonsense,
is,
nonsense. This is business. This is business.
have
Let's
you
one thing at a time, Rashi. I
yes,
always told
sorry.
you. Come on,
Sorry.
you've got to make sure things get done first before diluting the pond. So, weapon. All right.
Yes, weapons.
So the foil isn't doing it for you anymore, is it?
No. Uh, well, do they know about like proficient weapons and stuff like that, or is that like different? Would
Yeah.
that be different wording? Oh, yeah.
It'd just be more along the lines of it doesn't suit me properly, or I can't handle it correctly.
Yeah. So, I mean, I thought that I would be able to handle it a little bit better, but it's turning out to be a little bit more unruly than I thought. So I wanted to get something a little bit more suitable for my battle and defense.
Right. Okay, well, you know me. I've got quite a selection here, and if you're looking for just some of the basic stuff, then you have full reign over my wares. You hand me that flail, and any of the basic items you can swap out, no problem.
Cool. So basically, that means that like it would just be a free trade.
Yeah, any of the common weapons. So, what weapon are you looking for?
Well, sorry, I keep zooming in and out on my page on accident. Give me a sec. Okay, there. Oh, shit, there we go. Okay, well, I wanted to keep the same weapon damage, but I'm gonna go with a mace, because it's similar to a flail, but I'm actually the clerics are actually proficient with it, so
That
I get
helps.
like the full proficiency bonus and damage and stuff. So that makes up for the hit dice damage being less.
Yeah. So yeah, if you just want a regular mace, then it's a simple trade.
Cool. Yeah, I don't want a magical weapon at the moment. I like to do, as a player, I like to do like quests and earn the magical cool shit.
Yep. So, as
Cool,
the
thank you.
flail and mace get traded out, as Rashi's looking over for the right one, anything else for you all? I've got plenty weapons, and like I said, some interesting finds that I've created myself, as well as been able to find that have been lost for centuries.
Bryn will definitely raise an eyebrow. Yes, I'd be interested to hear about those.
Well, what type of weapons are you in the mood for?
I've tended to stick with a longsword of sorts, but yeah, I just like my longsword, I guess.
All right. I can see the longsword on your hip. Interesting design. Looks to be possibly elvish in origination with some modifications. Looks like a good sword from where I can tell. The hilt is made quite finely grafted. But this sword I have here, it's more of a how to explain it? It's more of a niche type of weapon. I'm sure your sword might be possibly better than this one in regards to regular combat. But as far as versatility in doing something a little bit different, and he kind of pulls down this long sword that's hitched up from the wall, and as you see him reach up for it, there's like, it's almost as if his hand kind of passes through a barrier. It grabs it, and the sword kind of like, almost like pulling it out of like skin-tight plastic, just like sucks the sword through the barrier. The sword is the same length and size and width as a longsword is, but it kind of curves just slightly at the end and has jagged sort of not teeth like regular like Bowie knives and such have, but instead it has like spikes that kind of go off, kind of like not sure if you know what an ankylosaurus is. I'll throw
I'm assuming on the tail.
yeah, I'm sure Richard or someone can find a picture of an Anki and throw it in chat. But it's got that sort of spike design, a tri-spike design down the back of it, and the hilt itself has some spikes that go out underneath where the handguard is. This weapon itself is very useful in material destruction. Yes, it's a dino. I call this weapon the Shatter Spike. So with this, you get a +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls you make with it. If it hits an object, the hit is automatically a critical hit, and you can choose between bludgeoning or slashing damage. And any damage, even critically, that is from non-magical sources cannot destroy this weapon. So if you're trying to like chop down a door or something, you can crit every time you hit. Or if you're trying to hit like someone and they block with their shield, you have a chance to destroy their shield, and vice, and et cetera, et cetera. But unfortunately, besides this longsword itself, I don't have many extra things in the longsword department. I've got some minor magical enchantments, so he's got +1 and +2 longswords. But other than this interesting little find, I don't have anything in the longsword realm. I've got battle axes, great swords, short swords, flails, maces, boomerangs, maul axes, hand axes. I've got a wide variety, but longsword, unfortunately, I'm a little thin.
What kind of weapon does boomerangs count under?
Simple thrown, I believe.
My interest has been piqued. 1 second.
That sounds
It
right.
depends on if your name is Sokka or not.
If you're proficient with javelin, you're proficient with boomerangs.
Nope, never mind. Kaporn would probably still go over there and look it over as like, wow, this is cool. Never really seen a boomerang before.
At a passing glass, are there any scimitars?
Scimitar. Unfortunately, I mean, there's basic common scimitars, but nothing past that. It seems that everything here is geared more towards dwarvish weapons of choice.
I figured as much.
So battle axes, flails, maces, and a maul axe, and a glaive. Some of these like extra weapons, like boomerang and glaive and stuff, he's only got like 1 or 2 of, and it's more of he probably got it and is reselling it than he created it.
How much for the scimitar?
Oh, you want the scimitar? For you, since you are a friend of Rashi here, you'll get the friend discounts, and that's only going to be 20 trillium.
That's 2 platinum, correct?
No. That's 1 platinum.
Well, I have that, so I'm going to hand him a platinum.
He takes in. Oh, big spenders. I love it.
Where Cha's gonna point at the whatever great axe he was almost touched.
That would be. I'm looking for it. Oh, sorry, not a great axe. It's a battle axe.
Gotcha.
You're interested? Feel like this axe might be a little bit large for your frame, son. But if you are interested, I call this the battle axe of Armblade. If you connect with it, as some magical weapons need you to, this weapon becomes a part of you.
Kaporn becomes a part of you.
Yes. After spending some time with it and Learning its ways, it connects with you and literally goes inside of you. Meaning you could bring it out at but a moment's notice. Go undetected in many places, always ready with a weapon if need be.
Orange. Oh wow, that's very interesting. Never heard of a weapon that you could pull out just like that.
They do come in handy, and he kind of. You see him whisper something really quickly, and out of his left forearm comes a long warhammer. And as he extends it and rests it down, you guys feel a slight vibration in the disc as he just lets it rest against the ground.
Good lord, you carried that around with you everywhere.
Well, once you have it inside of you, it doesn't really weigh anything, so it's not that hard of a problem. And he kind of like slides his finger up the handle and it retracts back into his forearm.
Magic.
Racha is playfully and surprisingly skillfully swinging around the battle axe.
You're trying to take it off the wall?
Oh, I thought he pulled it off the wall first.
No. He's just pointing at it, because you were pointing at it.
Gotcha. Then never mind.
So it goes undetected, even if you can't have any weapons anywhere.
Well, if someone makes you relieve all your weapons and doesn't have any magical means to see inside your body, then yes, it goes undetected.
You can't use magic here.
Magic is understandable here. There's plenty of people here that use it. How do you think I keep all my weapons secure?
He shakes his head no, and he points towards his the maul or the warhammer he put down on the ground, and it's like pantomimes pulling it out of his own arm. It's like, you can't use magic.
You all are allowed to use magic as long as it's not in an offensive manner here.
Yeah, they learned that the hard way. We can't go into one of the towns without magic bracelets now.
Yeah, some of the other towns are a little bit more skittish about magic. Usually the northern towns that have to deal with a lot more outsiders than Kember does. But here we pride ourselves on being a little bit more self-containing. Being on the discs that you are, if you were to do some offensive magic and try and hurt people, you're only going to get so far.
Most definitely. Though, what happens if we go enter there or someplace that has a magical barrier? What would happen with the battle axe?
It would, depending on the barrier itself, it would either eject the weapon from you or it would keep it locked inside. Most likely, it would just keep it locked inside of you.
Racha just sort of nods in understanding.
Anything else catching anybody else's fancy?
Well, that's definitely catching my eye. Being able to have something like that would be useful.
Yes, it does come in handy under certain circumstances where you need to be a little bit more placated, at least to the wandering eye. But I do have many other things that could be quite interesting if used in the proper contexts, or those who are more keen on getting a little blood under the fingernails, if you know what I mean.
Bryn will just nod.
I don't remember what in the list of weapons you provided. Did you say does he have a rapier maybe by chance?
No. I mean, he's got a regular rapier, but he doesn't have anything magical.
Oh yeah, just like a regular. I was looking for a regular rapier.
Yeah, he's got a regular one.
If you have, I would be interested in a rapier. I since had some changes happen and I don't have a weapon.
Of course. Again, friend discounts 20 trillium.
I just realized I don't carry yearly trillium. Bryn, would you mind trading with me?
She'll give the guy the 20 trillion.
Porn will hand over 10 gold pieces to Bryn.
Anybody else possibly interested in something?
How much is the battle axe?
With the friend discounts on top of everything, that one, being a little bit more magical than the other ones your friends have bought, is going to run you 60 trillium.
She'll nod. Yeah, I'll take it.
All right. It is called an arm blade battle axe.
Racha would actually pull out his own rapier and in his own voice go, some ancient artifacts were picked up, and then hold out the rapier and go, what do you think of this?
He takes the rapier from you and kind of flips it up into the air, kind of balances the rapier in his hand from the hilt, and it, with just a little bit of wiggle, stays standing. Kind of flips it to its side and balances it across lengthwise, and then kind of like twirls it and spins it, and then has the tip on his finger and kind of spins it on his finger a little bit, and then grabs it by the hilts and kind of looks at it and runs his hand along the blade. Interesting make. Can't really pinpoint the maker of this. Old. Or at least the materials used to make it is old. It seems new. Weird design. Crystal's weird. Not sure about it. It's finely crafted, balanced very well, weighted correctly. It's got good bones to it. Should do nicely as far as fighting is concerned. But as far as telling you any really much more about it, I'm at a loss about who or where it came from.
He'll just sort of nod and say, interesting.
He kind of like spins a blade across his hand so the hilt is towards you for you to grab it back again.
He'll just smile and take it back and just say thank you. And then actually he would point at that long sword that he brought out.
The Shatter Spike.
Correct.
Are you interested in purchasing it?
He's shaking his head yes.
Well, it's a interesting weapon. Haven't found too many like it in my time, especially with this design. But with the friend discount, that'll be 100 trillium.
He'll sort of look it over. He's never really used a long sword before, but he feels like he can all of a sudden use it. But it's very interesting to him.
There's also great swords here too.
That's a great sword. Sorry, I have to do that every time.
I guess he'd consider looking up. Basically, if he was going to use any of these things, he'd have to actually make it his packed weapon. But he is curious about them all. That's for sure.
The Maul?
Yeah, the Maul axe.
Oh, Maul axe.
You want to go shopping, Richa?
Yes.
So, you point to the Maul axe, and the Maul axe, it's the size of a great axe, but on the back end of one of the sides, instead of another blade, it is a blunted maul. It sits lengthwise, like on top of all the other weapons, and he goes, "I see you've got a good eye." And instead of reaching up there, because it's definitely taller than he can reach, he kind of just extends his hands, and the two latches that are holding it kind of like release and let the maul axe kind of fall, and he catches it. And with that, he kind of spins it a couple times, and then as he spins it for the last time around his back, he slams it against an anvil that's just at the base of his table, and you just hear ting. Nori, it hurts.
Ow.
Grin will just like hug you. It's okay.
And he kind of like lets it rest there, with the hammerhead side of the maul axe kind of keeping the weight of everything. So, this is an interesting design I've come up with. You can choose which side to hit it with, and depending on what you're hitting, it would be more or less effective. But as you can see, and he goes and he spins it once more and cracks it against the anvil, and this time, as the hammer hits, you see, not only do you hear the loud ting, but also you hear a like thunder just struck as lightning seems to encase the anvil itself, and kind of like little electric like extensions kind of dissipate into the air around it. And then he takes the bladed side and swings it and connects with his table. His table's made of solid wood, so it doesn't like cleave it or anything, but it makes connection with the actual table itself. And you hear the thump, and then you hear as the whole right side of the table where he makes contact with starts to frost. As you can see, this weapon itself has a decent enchantment on it that, well, can do a little damage. A little extra damage.
Fascinating. He just sort of like looks at the cracks in the table that it sort of created. Then he'll like gesture for Kaparin because he knows that Kaparin can fix things.
Kaporan just like, oh, okay. Walks over.
Well, the
is
blade
like,
is still sticking into it. He's like using it as a resting spot for a moment.
Kaporan just like looks over to Rachal. Is like, okay. Just when he's done.
If something's already magical, I couldn't make it my packed weapon, huh?
I think you can.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, just like Ford has a Star Razor.
Oh, it does say it has to lack the two-handed property. So.
Ah, there you go. Can't have you doing crazy amounts of damage.
Rachel just obliterates everything. Also, I don't think you get sneak attack with non-finesse weapon.
I think you can as long as you're flanking or have surprise.
You got the advantage.
Says when you hit with an attack with a finesse or ranged weapon. So she's correct.
But as far as one-handed items that he does have that are magical, he's got short sword, mace, flail, boomerang, and that long sword.
What a surprise! No warhammers.
He's got a bunch of them. They're just not magical. Well, he's got the one that's his. You see a spot where warhammers probably sit, but they seem to be sold out.
That makes more sense.
So you interested in any of those, Richard?
Yeah, he's contemplating that longsword still.
Okay.
But if anybody else would want to go.
So as far as magical weapons go, he's got mace, short sword, boomerang, the battle axe, the battle axe got sold. So long sword, great sword. Oh, there is another battle axe. The maul axe, a flail, a mace, a glaive, a javelin, some hand axes, and that's it. That are stuff besides like +1, because he's got a bunch of +1 stuff. Anybody?
Nope. Kaporan's happy with his rapier.
Sorry, I was listening, but I was reading, trying to get my weapon damage and stuff to be right. You said he has magical maces that aren't +1, that are other like magic-y stuffs.
Correct.
I would like to know what those are, because I zoned out earlier and just was like, yeah, let me do an even trade, and then I'm like, wait a minute. Like I get a good chance to get something for relatively decent price here.
Okay, so I guess the better question is price range. What do you want to stay within?
Well, I have 84 trillium left after paying for the fish tacos and drinks and the rooms.
Okay, that would be.
Didn't Rachel slip her some money?
I updated her gold.
Wait, Richard gave me money?
Yeah, you also have 20 gold with your stuff.
Should be 30 after I slipped through.
Well, she paid 10 and you gave her 20.
Gotcha.
Wait, no, Rashi does not have gold. Rashi only has trillium.
I see you having gold.
Uh, okay, that's weird because my screen doesn't. Gonna refresh the page real quick.
So since he knows you, he would have access to within 80 trillium worth. The only one that would be within your range. It's an interesting looking mace. It's got a like stone handle, but the head of it almost looks to be like glass. But he swears that it's just as tough as any metal that you've seen, and he says that it's specific to. It's specifically designed against fiends and undead, helping give a little bit extra holy damage. And if they are decently weak, it can destroy them outright. Also, he goes to hold it with both hands, and the glass head of it lights up, and it sheds decent light within 20 feet, and then dim light another 20 feet after that.
Hey, you have to hold it with both hands for it to do the light effect.
Well, he lets go of one hand, and just like to activate it, you use both hands.
Oh, okay.
But as long as you hold it, it stays on, and then he puts it on the table, and once he lets go, it turns off. So with that one, with your special discounts, he'd give it to you for 60 trillium.
The other ones are out of my price range,
Yeah.
or just plus ones, right?
Yeah, they're out of your price range.
Okay, question. If I get a +1, just a regular +1, does my domain ability, that gives me extra +1 to damage and attack, does that stack?
I believe it should.
Okay,
It
because it makes sense that it would, but I just want to double check.
Because it says at
Depends.
the end of a long rest, you imbue a non-magical version of a weapon, a +1.
Oh yeah, it does. But I could. Ah, boo. Okay. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. For side face. Okay.
Yeah, it does say non-magical.
Yeah. I'm looking at it right now. Boo.
Still pretty good.
Anybody else interested in anything?
Rachak cannot justify buying a long sword for himself, unfortunately, so he's gonna pass on it.
All right.
I'm just gonna keep my regular mace and make it a +1 mace with my ability.
Okay.
It seems like we might be done with the weapons, though they are impressive. Definitely enjoyed coming here. We were hoping to talk a little bit of business as well.
All right. If the financial business is done, why don't you all head inside so we don't get interrupted?
Bryn will go wherever he's pointing them to or whatever.
Yeah, he basically where him and Rashi disappeared to when you guys first got there. It's just a small room off to the side. It looks like a bunch of unrefined material is in here, as well as a small cot and some open things of food, and just it looks more of like a temporary shelter type of area. it's it's warmly lit by the outside light coming in through different peak holes, through different areas in the roof, but overall it's more of a storeroom that he's kind of half turned into like a, well, if he's got to sleep here, then he can make do. But he pulls out two like benches for everyone to sit on that's large enough to accommodate everybody as he and Rashi sit on his bed or cot. All right. What can I do for y'all?
We've been talking to Rashi, and she seems to think you might be able to lead us to someone we've been looking for. He goes by Qatar. I believe he's around here somewhere. We're hoping to go talk to him about a couple different matters.
Kind of turns his head to the side slightly to look at you, Rashi. Rashi, what have you gotten yourself into?
I don't know. That's why I came to you. I told him what you told me long ago was that don't worry about it because I'm not going to be running trade routes, but they need to talk to him about something. And, well, they've proven themselves in battle and they seem trustworthy enough. It's hard to find people to trust in these regions for myself. And I understand if you can't help, but I thought you would be probably the best person to come to first.
Well, you know for damn sure that I'm going to be the only one that's going to help you, at least, with this information. Qatar is he's a right nasty fellow. And if you don't carry yourself with strong authority, kind of like looks and pointedly says this towards Rashi, then he's gonna walk all over you. And well, luckily there's enough of you that I don't think he's gonna outright attack you, but if he feels you're weak enough, he just might. So definitely go in there with your confident pants on. He lives on the coast in a small hut off some precarious rocks that overhang the water. Directly west from here, go until you hit the shore, and then start heading slightly south. You'll see his house. Can't miss it. Right when the cliff starts to get dangerously thin over the water. I would make sure you make whatever business that you have with him as quick as possible. I don't trust that motherfucker.
Language.
Rashi, if you want to get in with adult situations, you gotta handle adult conversation.
I know I was kidding. Is there anything that you said that they would like trade stuff with him? Would that be a way to get on better terms with him if we had something to trade or something?
Well, yeah, if you have enough of something that might be interesting, he's always down to do stuff for coin. But if you don't fancy mining some mithril, then buying his help or acceptance or whatever you want from him would probably be your easiest route.
And how costly does that come?
Depends what kind of mood he's in. I mean, this here great sword, and he kind of like reaches back behind his cot and pulls out this long great sword that has a black blade and it almost seems to be matted in color, but looks like it comes like that naturally. This sword right here cost me 80 mithril pieces. You all have dealt with mithril, right?
100 mithril pieces.
Close enough.
Is that what he said, or did he say like a mithril cart or something?
He said
like
80.
That? No, the one that the Goliath outside the.
Oh yeah, he said mithril
pit.
pieces.
But he said 100, or was it like a cart? I remember him saying
It was
something stupid high.
150 mithril pieces, I believe is what he said. At least that's what I have in my notes.
Gotcha, makes sense. You need a cart of trillium to pay for a piece.
Yes, that wouldn't be feasible to bring trillium to him to pay that, but I doubt you're asking for artifacts.
No, it's more knowledge of his past life, and I guess we were hoping that at least he would be able to get us in contact with some arms manufacturers that our boss was looking to get in contact with.
Your boss? Arms manufacturers? That doesn't seem the best way to go. I mean, Qatar does work for some of the arms manufacturers here in Kember, but again, he's just dealing with trade. That relationship would probably be a little bit more expensive. As far as his past life goes, I'm not entirely sure. Never asked him about it. Never even tried pushing that realm of questioning. Never really needed to. Not sure how much that would cost you, but to get an in with one of the arms dealers down here, well, I can tell you for sure that's going to cost you a pretty penny going through Qatar.
Oh, I don't need to go through him, just he wants communication with them.
He looks at you, Brad. You're a right weird one, to be completely honest, and not saying it in a distasteful way. You're not human. That much I can tell. What are you, specifically, and where do you hail from?
You're right, I'm not a human, and I am a Valkyrie.
That explains the smell.
Excuse me?
One, you've been dealing with magic as long as I have. Especially magic that runs down the core of items and people. You can start to get scents from them, smells from where they've come, but it's just the traces of their origination that leaves imprints on their magic. Most of the time, you can tell where a person or a thing has come from. Like, I can tell you that this here greatsword comes from the Nine Hells, specifically. But I couldn't put a pinpoint on that rapier of yours, Racha. Which begs more questions that I feel like even asking right now. But your smell was different, and I haven't really dealt with it before, and now that I've got a lock, at least, on what a Valkyrie smells like, magically speaking, I can put that feat to use later.
Racha tries to stealthily smell Bryn.
Roll stealth. Gets a big ol' whiff. She smells like lavender.
That's nice.
I'm assuming that would give him his stealth away, at least for me, please.
Well, you only smell like lavender because of the bath.
No, but I mean, if he says that out loud.
I would probably assume that, like, he smells, he pulls back, and kind of, like, turns to Kaporin and just says, that's nice.
Kaporin shakes his head. But he's too afraid to even try it himself.
Well, you didn't. He's still so high. You didn't see what he did. He just turns and goes, "That's nice."
So Kaporin just turns around and is like, "Okay, Racha."
Now, my next question is, who do you work for that has you coming down all the way here and getting involved in arms trading?
Ominous music begins to play.
Is there a way to, like, I guess, check his character if he seems trustworthy or not, I guess? I don't know.
Insight check, you mean?
Yeah, I guess that would be it.
Okay. Go ahead and roll an insight check. And you're looking at his character?
Yeah, like, do I think I can trust him?
I mean, he seems pretty forthright with what he's doing in his line of questioning. He's kind of interposed himself, though he's still sitting on the cot with Rashi. He's kind of interposed himself naturally between you two, so it comes off more as a protectorate vibe than, like, all the line of questioning he's doing is to protect Rashi than it is anything else. Very much dad vibe.
Yeah, I
Just
figured.
is totally sitting there, oblivious. He's kind of like moved sort of in front of her because she's just like she's used to it, so she doesn't really realize that it's like a protector thing. She's just like, yeah, he's just being him.
He put the greatsword on your lap, and you're just looking at it.
Yeah, pretty much. The Nine Hells greatsword.
Yep.
I'm fascinated by the black blade.
Black blade and the bone handle.
Yep. Way beyond anything I could make, which is why it's fascinating to her. He was just like, here, look at this pretty toy, child.
Pretty much. Bryn?
Yeah, she'll look at Nori real quick, just as a... Alright, guess I'm gonna say this. He goes by the name of Barnabas. Haven't been working for him too long, though.
Rashi, you wake up to that.
Wait, what? Why are we talking about my dad? Or who I think is my dad? What?
There's multiple of them, Rashi.
Kaporin kind of just reaches out and places a hand on Rashi's knee. It's like, I'll explain more later. Our connection might be a little bit more difficult to explain right now.
I know, Barnabas. There's not multiple of him. He's one man.
Share his name.
He's one man that has a bunch of peons that pretend to be him constantly.
Bryn's just gonna nod at that. She's like, yeah, I figured, just easier to explain kind of thing later. But yeah, she'll just nod at that.
Turns to Rush. So I'm guessing you still haven't found him then yet?
No, I part of me traveling with them is apparently, and she points at Caporn. Apparently we're related. Apparently he's my half brother or something. Maybe.
He kind of looks from Rashi to Kaporn.
I mean, it's an option.
I'm sorry, well, I don't have much to say on that either. We've run across each other, and I'm still trying to hopefully find more answers.
Baylor kind of slowly stands up and walks over to you, Kapoor, and kind of bends at the waist to look you in the eyes, and then just reaches out his hand and puts it on your forehead and casts a spell magic. Nothing happens.
Yes, Bella?
Just needed to make sure you weren't him in disguise.
A reasonable
I
thing to
can
do.
I think we all here can understand that.
I can't. I don't know who he is. Although he doesn't sound very awesome. I don't know if I want to find him now.
Well, I mean, Rashi, well, I'm not going to let my personal emotions get in the way of this, but let's just say he's not the most upright of individuals.
All of a sudden, Valar got a southern twang there.
He rolls in different. He's also got a little bit of the Durgar Scottish as well. Bellar's well traveled, so depending on his emotional state will dictate how his vocal range goes.
Okay, because I was getting he had this kind of really cool voice, and all of a sudden there was a drawl, and I was like, where did that come from? Still don't know if I want to find him.
At him saying that he's not the most upright of individuals, Bryn will just nod. Yes, we know that. Don't worry about that.
He's gonna worry anyway.
That actually brings me to... Well, I told your mother that I would tell you this next time I saw you. She didn't want me to, but... Well, you need to know. The reason she sent for you to find your father is because she's still married to him.
What? Wait. Well, okay. So that I actually also came to ask because I haven't found her, and my new friends have helped me, and why would she be on the fourth disc? No one that's not Durgar would be
That
on the
brings
fourth
me
disc.
to the second part of what I wanted to talk to you about.
Secretly a Durgar?
Your mother and myself are engaged.
She just kind of, her jaw drops, and she kind of leans forward to hug him, and the greatsword kind of falls on the floor, but she just kind of hugs him, and everyone sees her tears, tears in her eyes, good happy tears.
Rashi, I'm glad that you are. Well, I'm glad, and it'd be Racha and Kapoor, and you see a small tear kind of forming in the left eye of Balar. And as Rashi kind of starts to pull away, he kind of quickly wipes it against her arm. But that is one of the reasons why we sent you to go find your father. We know with you being his kid, he's not going to actively say no to you. But if you can coordinate a reunion between your mother and him, we can get that marriage annulled so we can get married.
That doesn't seem like that's going to be easy, given that all of you are saying he's not such a great person.
Well, he's not a great person, but the marriage that they have isn't so much just a legal one. It's also a magical one. And I'm sure with him being in the businesses that he's in with now, he would prefer this link be dismissed. So it would be in his best interest to also get that marriage taken care of. So I'm hoping he sees reason, and if not, well. He kind of like turns around to everybody else and goes, I mean, you've seen the hammer. Do I really need to bring it out again?
No, sir.
Rashi giggles. You all notice that she, like, even though you've not known her a while, you all notice that, like, as you're around Valar longer, she kind of, like, is a little bit more, like, childlike, not in, like, a stupid way. She just, like, you can tell that she's very comfortable around him, that, like, she considers him a father, and, like, doesn't have as much of, like, that weird social awkwardness guard that, like, she does when you're all around and, like, out and about.
Jaw would actually kind of like, with his body language, give up the idea of like, I kind of want to see it again, but then he doesn't have to follow that up.
Make a persuasion check. He kind of just smiles and winks at you, but doesn't bring it out.
At the mention of the magical marriage or whatever, would Racha even know what Bryn's going on with him or no? Because I wasn't ever actually in that conversation, so would the group have told me by now, I guess?
I'm assuming that we would have told you, but not Saren or Rashi, because they came in so much later.
Talking about the tattoo?
The whatever magical thing they put on my heart.
Yeah.
The handshake, yeah.
Yeah, they've talked about it a few times with you in company, so yeah.
Then Racha would kind of get a little worried and actually gestured and point at Bryn's chest. Like, just like poke her in the chest, basically.
So Racha comes and pokes you in the chest, Bryn.
Yeah, love that. Yeah, you're worried about the contract, yeah?
You have a contract with him?
We weren't given much of a choice.
It was that or...
Wait,
Yeah.
did you specifically make the contract with him?
No, it was one of his people he had with him.
That makes more sense. He doesn't like to keep many magical ties on him because they can be traced.
Well, it sounds like you have quite the know of Barnabas. It's sad to say.
Well, the majority of Rashi's information before she left about Barnabas came from me, as I spent a good 7 months trying to track him down.
I told you he would be helpful. Wait,
Bryn's gonna
do I have to call you Dad now? That's kind of weird.
What was that?
Do I have to call you Dad now?
No. That'd be weird.
Because I've never taught you that before.
I don't expect you to, and Baylor's fine.
Cool.
Bryn's gonna get a little bit of a confused look. Just how much alike does he look like Rashi?
Like Rashi? Well, Barnabas changes himself whenever he goes to a new place. Go ahead.
Good. That would explain his current look and how I didn't believe Rashi when she first told me about their relationship.
I've got some magical abilities myself, but I believe what they call it is true polymorph.
And then your genetics are changed. That makes sense.
He spends time in a new location, does whatever he needs to do, makes the connections he wants to make, but makes sure that the name sticks. Very few times does he change his name, and when he does change his name, he says that he works for Barnabas Elrith. Then, whenever he leaves the area, he'll send one of his peons back with some sort of altering magic to make them look like he did when he was last there, and he can continue with his business.
Rachel would look towards Caparin and go, Jadeport, not your dad.
Racha, I cannot say that, but I'm truly scared to think who my father is now.
If your father is Barnabas Elrith, who ever you ended up picturing as your father, that's probably what he looked like when he was in that body. Like I said, his peons look like him after he leaves the area, and they keep that facade up.
Rachel then does the gesture to Baylor, like what he's saying.
Yeah, Racha, you're a smart bird at times, and I certainly think you're on to something here. And Rashi, we might be true. We might have more in common than I originally thought.
So we are related. Because, I mean, he's definitely my dad, at least, I guess.
It's an interesting situation with the type of spell that he does. You guys are related in spirit, in soul, I guess would be the best way to do it. But actually down to the molecules, you wouldn't share the same familial connection.
We're not, like... Oh, okay, so we're not related, but we kind of are.
Correct. Like, you guys have technically the same father, but if you needed a transplant of a organ or something, I doubt Kaporin here would make the correct fit.
The more I think about this, the more it just hurts my head. Kaporin just sits there, kind of in his thoughts, thinking like he would rather have his father be dead than know it's Barnabas.
Unfortunately, I do not know what Barnabas's true form is, as he constantly is changing and, well, without an origination point of where he's come from, can't really pinpoint anything.
I'm assuming you were searching for him for the same reason you're having Rashi search.
I've searched for the better part of 2 years. I can only take so much time off from my actual job, but I've got feelers out there trying to find out any information that I can.
Well, with this new information, Rashi, uh, hopefully we'll be able to take you back to your father.
My father? And she points at Balin and goes, he's my father. This Barnabas is just a person that brought me into the world, and I would rather sooner find him and punch him in the face and be like, release the spell, than be on our way.
He's just related to you through biology. And technically not even that?
Yeah, what you said.
Well, one way or another, we need to bring you back to him and get this situation figured out so Valar here can enjoy his life with his new, hope soon to be wife. I didn't mean to make that rhyme.
Well, you're a bard, I can
Yes, you did.
understand.
She giggles.
This certainly is some strife.
Now you're trying too hard.
He's a very loud bard, but not necessarily always good. He needs to learn to be quieter.
Don't speak rude to him.
She does not. Sorry, she didn't say that in common. I always forget to tell people I'm translating.
I thought he was talking in common.
Yeah, Baylor's been talking in common.
Yeah, I know, but when she made the comment about Kapoor, she would have switched into the other thing.
Right.
Yeah, no, this conversation would be taking much longer if Rashi had to freaking translate for everybody all the time.
But if you're really keen on making an arms deal, Qatar, though he could get you to talk to somebody, would not be the most efficient way at making connections. Go and survive, Qatar. And unless he gives you some new means or an interesting caveat to possibly get involved with the arms dealers, I'll work on my end at possibly getting you a face-to-face. If this helps expedite your return to Barnabas and a face-to-face meeting, then that benefits all of us.
Bren will nod. That would be incredibly helpful, yes. And hopefully we'll be able to see Barnabas and get Rashi to him.
That's the plan. You guys remember the directions to get to Qatar, do you?
Well, Rachad doesn't know. He will repeat them exactly how he said them.
Good. No, I would say stay and please have some dinner and whatnot, but sooner you get that done, the sooner you can get back. I'll let your mother know that you were here and that we're expecting you back.
Why is she on the fourth ring? Or disc?
That's where I live. This is just my shop. Sometimes I work late at night and I camp out, but my actual house is down there.
Quite.
Yes.
What exquisite gentlemen you both are.
Go there for dinner?
Unfortunately, though I could try and pull some strings, I feel we should reserve that for if I get you a face-to-face meeting with these stealers. I doubt I could get you down there more than one day.
He just nods in understanding.
So, if I can pull it off on my end, then possibly you all can go down there to have your conversations, and then afterwards stop by my place, see your mother, have some dinner, and then bring you guys back up here.
Sounds like a plan. I guess we better get moving on our part.
How long does the trip west take?
Getting to the beachhead should take no more than half a day.
Colonel Nod, thank you for everything.
Cha will go to shake his hand again and say in dark or under dwarvish, "You little bird, I like your style," but he doesn't actually know what he said. He just assumes that what that other Durgar told him that one at the end of the fight on the way there is some sort of salutations or like so long.
Yeah, some sort of greeting or dispersing. He kind of smiles and like gets on his tippy toes to be slightly taller than you and says the same.
Just encourages him to say it more. Wonderful.
So, if anything else you want from Balar while you're here?
Kaporn's good. He would like to shake Balar's hand fiercely.
Is he mostly weapons, or does he also have armors by chance?
No, he's mostly weapons.
Gotcha. Just double checking.
So he starts shaking all of your hands as you guys leave.
Just like, congratulations.
Smiles, says thank you.
Bryn's gonna be the last one to shake his hand. Wait for them to go out just a wee bit more.
He doesn't let go
I
of
know
your
you-
hand.
Wonderful. I know you've been searching for him for a long time, and that we have access to him, but is there anything that you could tell me about, I guess, any, I don't know, advice? I still, even though we work for him, I still feel clueless to who he is or what he is.
He's still holding your hand. He's been smiling this whole time, and though his face is showing smiles, his eyes are like piercing into you.
Oh God, okay.
You hear in the back of your head, Barnabas is no trifle matter. He is dangerous, more so than he ever lets on. You need to be wary. Even your heritage, even your people, would find him a large adversary. Anything you do with or for him is no trifle matter. He will slowly keep testing you until he pushes you into a point where you are no longer yourself. I've seen many good people turned evil under him. People I once called friends. I've had to kill myself. He's not a man anymore. He is evil incarnate, and only cares about himself. Take care of Rashi. But if you get in a situation where you need to make the tough choices, leave. Get Rashi out of there. I say this not only for myself, but for her mother. He will not hesitate to kill. Go. Meet this Qatar. I will work on my end for what I can do. If you come back successful, not only will I make sure I can get you a meeting with the right people, but that greatsword will be yours as well, as he kind of nods towards the blackened bone handle greatsword on the cot.
I feel like Bryn's eyes would kind of go, whoa, okay.
He kind of goes back to being a warm smile and lets go of your hands, and the voice disappears from the back of your head. So, you all stay safe out there.
Good. Rashi's daddy has some tricks.
Rachab watching this conversation sort of happen.
Oh,
Not like
everyone was gone.
Yeah, but like it takes for the time it takes for her to be gone. When she shows up, he's gonna be like, "Fucking paint and picture. It'll last longer."
You just hear that little bird voice out of the from outside. And with that, he kind of just gestures towards the door.
Thank you, and she'll leave.
Bryn. Yeah, you just notice. You notice as you're walking away that your hands feel cold. And colder than, like, if your blood circulation was cut off or anything. And you kind of look at your hands, and there's, like, beginnings of little bits of frostbite, like, around where Balar was clasping your hands.
Cool. Don't piss off Rashi's dad. Cool.
Either of them.
Soon to be done.
Right? Exactly. So many dads to watch out for.
Right? I mean, honestly, I think I'm probably more afraid of Balar, but that's just because I haven't had any interactions with baby daddy yet.
Aaron, is your dad a problem? Do we need to worry about him too?
Like my
Who's
real
dad?
dad?
Kaporin's dad is Barnabas.
I'm
Oh,
saying
yeah.
Saren's dad. Because we have a problem with Nori's not dad, but dad. And then these two's dad. My dad's dead, apparently, but, gotta figure out what the hell that's going on. And then, so Saren and Rachad, any dad issues on your side that we need to worry about now?
We need to know everyone's daddy issues because so far all the half elves have not great dad situations.
Would Racha,
I mean, that's. Yep, go ahead.
would Racha even know who his dad is? It's all about the flock for them.
You know who your progenitor is, yeah.
Is it? Oh, yeah.
Progenitor
It is.
Rashi.
It is, oh yeah.
Progenitor problem. Rashi's dad, Balar, is fucking awesome.
I think my dad's cool, guys. Just so we all know.
It's the kind of parent that gives you a weapon when you're like old enough. It's like, here, have this. I know you might.
He literally handed me a bomb. Just said,
And didn't tell you what it does.
Your dad fully gave you a bomb.
And the black liquid, right?
No, the black liquid is used in the bomb making process.
What did I
Oh
miss?
shit.
Welcome back, Saren.
Does Saren have any daddy issues or progenitor issues we have to worry about? Because apparently everyone but Racha's progenitor is a problem.
Unless my dad is secretly a lich, no.
Only one way to find out.
Oh
I
no.
was just thinking, like, shit, I so hope he's not a lich. But like now you put ideas in the DM's head.
We got my fucking stepdad to deal with, and then we've got Barnabas. At least, oh yeah, it's cool.
Oh yeah.
These are the rules of life.
Technically, oh yeah, can still be a problem. We don't know that yet.
He's a problem in
Really?
a good way.
I was gonna say, depending on how you look at it, he is already.
He's an enabler?
I'm trying to find something.
Well, if my dad and oh yeah become real problems, we have to deal with it. We could just name ourselves the Dad Killers since we don't have anything better.
Just all of it daddy issues.
Rashi's gonna friggin' ask Rylo, like, hey, can you adopt all my friends? They want you to be their dad too.
One at a time? Let's
Right?
worry about you first, Rashi.
Right. Right.
I was gonna jump in like front of the line. It's like, can a Corporan be?
Let's worry about going to Qatar first. How about that?
Right.
Oh, before we leave, Kaporin also offers to fix the tabletop if it's damaged.
Oh, as you guys get out there and look back at it, it seems to self-healed.
Wow.
You think, and now putting it all together, someone who deals with possibly sharp, blunt, and hot objects constantly, a wooden table usually wouldn't be a good thing to have, as it would be broken down pretty quickly. But now that you see that it reforms itself, it makes more sense.
Especially the way he was just throwing around his weapons like that. It's just like, okay.
Yeah, there's an enchantment of mending on the actual block of wood itself.
Cool. Off to Qatar then.
All right, are you guys getting your steeds back?
I was just gonna say, like, if the path is like super rocky and becomes really thin, that doesn't really sound safe for horses.
Well, you guys are going to the beach first, and then you're going along the beach till you hit the cliff, and then you can go up the cliff.
Ew.
Yeah, so it's not like it's all like on a rocky area. You're going to be mainly traveling the beach.
If we're all getting ready for travel, Saren's gonna go back to the inn, so he's got some privacy. Cast tongues on himself, All right. You know what? Yeah, I'm just gonna cast tongues on myself, and I will head to the stationery to buy some paper.
Okay.
And
Yeah, you can get as much as you want here.
I only have that much. I'm going to buy just 40 trillion worth,
Okay, so 20 gold worth.
and I'll meet back up with the group.
Roger that.
I don't think there's really anything Racha needs at this point.
Okay, so are you guys getting your horses?
Yes, please. It's still early or mid morning-ish.
It's about noon.
So we'd get to the coast by 4 p.m.
Yeah, 4 or 5-ish.
And then he said it was only like a short shot from the coastline, or no?
Yeah, if you guys went directly west, it wouldn't be once you hit the beach, it wouldn't be too far. Like another half hour.
Gotcha.
If you leave,
I guess
if you leave now, you'll end up, depending on what conversations and what happens and what transpires, you could be immediately on your way back, or either you'd be traveling back through the darkness, or you'd have to wait till the next day somewhere out there.
makes sense. I guess the one thing Racha would bring up, because there was a cliff mentioned, he'd somehow convey, do we want to get me a leash?
Brown tiara.
As hilarious as the image is, Racha, I do have a spell that would keep you from.
Yes, but does it retract it?
You don't bring back every stone you throw into the pond. Sometimes you just gotta let it go.
Be free.
He slowly float and feel free for the first time in his life, and then after like a minute of falling, he just fall even further.
Yep.
I mean, I can always just fly everyone up one at a time.
The way Balar said everything, it doesn't sound like it's going to be a hard climb to get to Qatar.
Yeah, his concern is mostly like wind's gonna blow you off or something. But a rope could do that too, and he's got a rope, so he's not worried about it.
Just strap Racha on like a baby, like one of those baby harnesses.
A baby Bjorn?
Strap it to Kaporan. Kaporan's the heaviest. And Rachal's going to stealth tie around your waist, and then he's just going to leap from the cliff. And Kaporan's going to be like, what?
Kill Noodle Boy again.
Okay. So you guys want to leave now or wait till the next day?
I vote now.
We're voting for leaving now. It's only noon. And if we have to like camp on the beach or travel back in the dark, well, I don't know how many of us besides me has dark vision, but like, we can figure that out then.
I mean, I have magic spell. I have my cantrip for light, and I think a lot of us have good night vision.
Racha makes his lantern glow.
I think we would be, however, putting ourselves at a bit of a disadvantage if we are forced to come back under darkness.
The only other thing Racha would bring up is because Balar said it, dinner with your mom to Rashi.
Yes, that's true. That would be good. But I mean, it's only midday. Like, what? It seems like a waste of the day if we don't try and go now.
Well, let's think about it this way. If we go leave now and we make it there in a quick time, and if conversations go well, it then we might just camp out nearby. If not, it'll be a quick trip there and back, and we'll have our rooms waiting for us when we do.
No, this would be the last night we have them, unless we want to pay for another to make sure they still have room for us.
Kaporin's fine with sleeping on the ground. He's been doing it for the past how many days? Or how many weeks?
I just believe Baylor made a no secret that if Qatar thinks we're weak enough, he wouldn't hesitate to attempt to kill us. I think we should get rid of as many uh, disadvantages as we can.
So do you want to wait till tomorrow?
I believe it's the best course of action, but
I don't
we
think
all
he would
have a
attack
vote.
us. I don't think he would attack us in the night. If we're once we leave, once we get there, he could attack us. But if we do our business with him and then are on our way back and it's dark and we need to camp, I don't. He'd have no reason to come after us. But I mean, I'll guess I'll follow whatever the majority is. I don't know what we'll do with the day.
Saren, was your concern the spells you have prepared?
Uh, perhaps a little bit. If things go south, I don't have as much in offensive magic as I'd like.
I'm in a similar situation.
Oh, well, why didn't you just say you needed to get different spells?
That would have been a lot simpler.
Yeah, that makes sense. If you need to get different spells so we have a better chance as a group if he does decide to attack us, because I do believe Valar has no reason to exaggerate that he could very well kill us all, then we definitely should wait so you can get better prepared.
So we wait the night? Kaporin's fine with either.
I still have a little bit of a headache, so I like the idea of staying, but I'm good with either one. I do think having proper spells is going to be important for this situation.
Then let's wait. So I know both of you need to do that. So I think going just first thing tomorrow morning would be best. That way, hopefully, we can come back and we'll be back before it gets too dark tomorrow.
Tally ho then.
We're leaving our horses with
Okay, so heading back to the Fluffy Pegasus, or you guys want to do some shopping or something?
I forgot I lost my rope. Bryn would like to go find rope.
Yeah, let's go buy some rope.
You know what? Saren will actually go back to the stationery and find another 20 trillion worth of paper and ink.
Okay, so 10 gold worth. Just 50 feet of rope.
Yeah, I gotta replace what we lost.
Okay. That is going to be 3 trillion for 50 feet.
Was Richard the only one that didn't lose his rope in that situation?
Will anyone buy torches here in this
Yeah.
town?
They all have dark vision.
I figured as much. I'm tired of carrying around 10 pounds of torches.
You could just toss them.
Learn to juggle, and then light them on fire, and then learn to fire juggle.
Yeah, with Koparin's decks, that's gonna go real well.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be perfect. He won't light himself on fire at all.
Should have seen our act yet last week. It was wonderful.
Yep, he lights himself on fire.
These aren't lit, but Kaporn immediately drops them all.
I said learn to juggle first, and then light them on fire, and learn to fire juggle. So that way you already know how to juggle. You're just adding the dangerous element of fire. How much would it be to get a tent?
What size tent?
Well, the one that I'm seeing, that I'm looking up, is a 2-person. I'm not seeing any other ones.
Yeah, I'd have
So I
I'd
guess
have to
you-
put it in. If you want a tent to hold all of you at once, that's going to be 10 trillium.
Oh, really? For all of us at one time? That's not too bad.
Well, we also have the tiny hut spell. If I don't know, whatever y'all think.
The issue we had with it previously was that it's actually like 50 pounds or something like that, and so nobody could carry it.
It's the weight of two-person tents.
If we can find another bag of holding, but yeah, at the time, Theron's tiny hut is the best solution.
I'm confused. Okay, too many people talking at once. What is the? We're not allowed to have tents. What?
The large tent weighs as much as two-person tents, which is 40 pounds. So when people are walking around, we're becoming over-encumbered because it weighs so much.
Rashi just wants to buy a tent for herself, so just the regular tent.
Okay, then one two-person tent is 3 trillium.
Yeah, I figured it was something she would have on her, but it doesn't come with like the cleric equipment, so I figured.
Well, you were
I would
also
get
with
one
the
now.
guard carts and everything, so you didn't need it.
Guess who's got a bunk buddy? High five.
Yeah, I imagine Rachel would try and bunk with her,
No,
and
on
she would
top
be
of
okay.
Yeah,
Oh, on top.
he's on top of it. You would have noticed that he does the same thing with Saren's bubble. He actually requests that Saren don't let him in so he can sit on the top of it.
If you sit on top of the tent, though, you'll crush the tent.
He's very careful about it.
Richara's carpenter's
Hey,
tool is
he-
to modify the tent.
Okay, so he treats it like more like a nest.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Well, okay, so question real quick. Why do I have 20 gold again? Like, it's showing up now. I refreshed my page, but why do I have 20 gold?
I found a bunch of money. I split it between all of us, and then you went and paid somebody, and then I snuck in some more money into your pocket, so you're at 20 gold from it.
Okay. Oh, was it because I paid for the food for everybody?
Paid for our access into the city.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that last week when I was kind of there, but not really.
No, it was last session when you weren't here at all.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was this week, but Monday. Sorry. When you never leave your house, time means nothing.
No worries.
Understood.
So is there anything else you guys would like to get before, or to prep for tomorrow?
Saren would it wouldn't be shopping, but he's gonna transcribe a fireball into the news public. Fireball.
Okay.
I guess Rachel would actually go back to Baylor if he's still at his place, and he would ask him, to the best of his ability, what race Qatar was.
All right, go ahead and roleplay it.
Hello.
Richard, welcome back.
Just some questions for you.
What can I do?
Qatar. Person?
Yes, he is.
Like you?
No, a bit taller.
Like me?
A bit taller than that. I haven't met him directly. I just know him by reputation.
Quite. What is it?
Like I said, I'm not sure. I just know him by reputation. I'm not sure if what he looks like or anything like that.
Any presents?
I have no idea. I just know his name, that he does some business for other people and finds things for people if you've got the right items for him. I've never dealt with him directly. I always use an intermediary. But from what I've heard, he's menacing. That's about as much as I can give you. Gotta understand, from a Duergar perspective, anyone who's taller than us is just tall. And, well, not a lot of people discuss tall people.
He'll just sort of be nodding at that. I just want to smooth things over.
Understandable? Just make sure. Like I said before, be confident when talking with him.
You'll have to fuck the queen for something like that. He has
Maybe
like
a little less confident.
he stands up a little at that and grins in his weird bird smile.
I like the gusto, but he might take that a little bit the wrong way. Confident, but not putting it all out there, if you understand.
Shallow and pedantic.
Quite. Just give him the tip.
Just give him the tip. He just nods his head.
Oh my god, this conversation, Richard, is fucking great.
Wait till you get to Kenku on Kenku Talks.
That sounds dirty, but I know what you said.
So it is just give him the tip.
Pedantic.
Anything else?
He'll shake his head no, and he repeat the and you little bird, I like your style.
Back in Duergar, he says the same.
And he just sort of like smiles and waves and heads off.
All right. Anybody else? Okay. Go ahead.
Maybe before the night ends, Bryn would want to attune to her new toy.
Okay. As you finish attuning to it, it gives you a weird feeling. It's almost like it's an extension of yourself. And as you're gripping it with one hand, all you have to do is let go, and it just sucks back into your forearm. And then as you, I believe, is it a command phrase? I think it's a bonus action.
Yeah, it just says as a bonus action you can retract or extend it.
Yeah. So as you like create the handhold that you would have around it, it extends out from your forearm once again and fills the gap. This time, the wrappings around the handle have become a blue, and everything else has taken on like a silver connotation to it.
Cool.
Anybody else? Kaporin?
Kaporin's good. He's just gonna head straight up to the room.
All right. Well, if that's all, we'll go ahead and end the session for tonight with you guys eating from the place. Bryn, were you going to pay for more nights?
God, I guess how long would we stay after? I guess would be the question to ask the group to save the rooms.
I don't think we'll be staying here much longer after coming back from meeting with Qatar, so I would say probably one more night just to cover us over for when we get back, and Rashi can have some time to go see his mother.
You do know that at least it's going to be an entire day of travel to go to and come back from Qatar. And then also you're going to need to have this meeting and dinner with whoever Balar can set up for you guys, as well as meeting Rashi's mom. So, unless you're planning on fitting that all in one day.
Probably 2 nights, 2 more nights then.
Okay, so that'd be 26 for the rooms and 14 for the horses and Trillium. If you're gonna skimp out on the horse, I mean, you can. It's really depending on the situation. You might be back in time to have the horses stabled for tomorrow night as well, or you might not. So it's up to you. If you want to be safe, then it's 40 Trillium altogether for both nights and stabling for both nights.
Yeah, we'll do the safe route. Do the 40 Trillium one.
Okay. So, you guys' rooms have been saved for 2 more nights. Nori and Bryn, as you return back to your rooms, there is another bottle of bubbly waiting for you. You all get your long rests and swap out any spells that you may need to for those that need to swap. And we will come back next session in the morning as you guys prepare to leave to go to Qatar. Which is a funny sentence because Qatar is an actual place.
Yeah, I keep getting thrown off by it. In all honesty.
I like it.
So, any questions for me?
Why Barnabas?
Why not?
Touche.
Haha. All right. Well, if no questions are needed, but if you do end up coming up with any, feel free to message me and I'll get back to them as soon as I can. If I don't talk to you all before then, have a great weekend and I'll see you all Monday.
Night.
Okay, bye, everybody.
Right.
Thank you all for being with us. Hope you have a great weekend as well. Stay safe.
matter what happens, I want you all to stay together, and I want you to do what you need to do to get out of here. Don't worry about me. Help as you can if you can. But mostly worry about yourselves, okay?
I'm not leaving you alone. You can do this.
If anything happens, I want to know that you will be okay.
I'll be safe.
Actually, he flips the conversation. He goes, I've noticed a little thing between you and Brett.
What?
Nothing.
No matter what happens, I want you all to stay together, and I want you to do what you need to do to get out of here. Don't worry about me. Help as you can if you can. But mostly worry about yourselves, okay?
I'm not leaving you alone. You can do this.
If anything happens, I want to know that you will be okay.
I'll be safe.